All doctors take the Hippocratic Oath, which states, "I will abstain from whatever is harmful or mischievous. I will neither prescribe nor administer a lethal dose of medicine to any patient." And physician-assisted suicide, commonly referred to as PAS, is a direct violation of that oath. PAS should not be legalized because it devalues human life, violates the moral standards we believe, and demolishes the doctor-patient relationship. Proponents argue Oregon's Death with Dignity Act, which states that a person should have the right to choose when their life ends. But what about those the law passes over? What about those whose rights are violated by the act? There are those whose lives would be ended prematurely. Not Dead Yet is a United States disability group that protests against assisted suicide, opposing public policy that singles out individuals for legalized killing based on their health. The U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops' response to Oregon's Death with Dignity Act is the first document by the bishops as a social body entitled "To Live Each Day with Dignity." A Catholic media commentator wrote, "The other side should not get away with christening themselves mercy killers. They are death dealers." The bishops are correct in their proffer that PAS aids prey on the weak and susceptible, exactly like PAS preys on the patients who fall victim to it. Religious opposition comes from all directions, which keeps the battle over PAS ongoing. In these cases, on June 1997, the court concluded establishing a legal precedent for assisted suicide was risky because patients might be forced or coerced into choosing a premature death against their better judgment. The media quickly popularized Jack Kevorkian's longtime nickname, Dr. Death, when on June 4, 1990, he performed his first physician-assisted suicide using a machine he had created from $45 worth of hardware. Kevorkian's first patient, Janet Adkins, brought him to a Michigan court after critics pointed to the fact that the 54-year-old teacher had been playing tennis a week before her death. This raised questions as to the loss of quality of her life and whether she was indeed deemed terminal before she decided to contact Kevorkian. He has since been faced with multiple charges. He has been tried and acquitted in several Michigan trials from charges ranging from violating the ban on assisted suicide to homicide. Some suggest that Kevorkian's brand of assisted suicide might initiate a slippery slope that could lead to coercion or to medical doctors making value judgments regarding their patients' lives. Kevorkian's practices example the devaluation of human life. These days, death is mourned through a 1 to 2 day celebration of life. Why would we cheapen those practices? The president of Human Life International sees the push to legalize assisted suicide as evidence of our society's increasing disrespect for life. And if doctors are allowed to present assisted suicide as an acceptable option, patients will feel their lives do not matter. And if patients feel their lives worthless in the eyes of their physician, doctor-patient trust is no longer an option. The legalization of PAS will worsen our country and our social relationships. I urge you to consider PAS a crime and deny its legalization.